The African diaspora is made up of about 350 million people, more than the population of the United States of America. If it was to be considered as a country, it's going to be the third most populated country in the world after China and India. But then this diaspora have had so many challenges and have been constantly adapting to the evolution of the world. But is this adaptation fast enough? Now, according to the US Census Bureau, the Chinese diaspora is crushing every other ethnic group around the world in terms of success. Now, looking at this list, we are going to see that India tops the list. But in this video, we're not going to be looking at India, we're going to be looking at China, simply because the Chinese diaspora is showing a similar trend across all other continents in the world. In Europe, in Asia, in Australia, in South America, they are showing almost the same trends. This means that the Chinese diaspora is intentionally doing certain things that other ethnic groups are not doing. Now, according to the US Census Bureau, an average Chinese immigrant makes about $81,000 per year. An average white American makes about $65,000 a year. That is about $20,000 less than what the Chinese make. An average African American makes about $45,000. That is about $40,000 less than what the Chinese immigrants make. So what are the Chinese immigrants doing that the rest of the people are not doing? My name is Asonga Luis and you are watching Africa Today. If you are not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the subscribe button and also press the notification bell so that you get informed every time we make an upload. Today we're going to see all the secrets that makes the Chinese diaspora successful and how the African diaspora can gain from their experience. And we are starting right now. One of the things that differentiates the Chinese diasporans from other ethnic groups is their choice on their major in universities. They are more interested in STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Meanwhile, most other ethnic groups are interested in management, theology, history, English. Imagine you are doing a bachelor's degree in English and you expect to have a very high paying job. You are doing a bachelor's degree in history and you are expecting to have a very high paying job. 10 years ago, we were saying that the best paying jobs are going to be in technology. This is already 10 years into the future. The future is already today, is now. And we have not even started yet. We have the coming of AI, artificial intelligence, which is even demanding more technology. Now, according to the US Census Bureau, Chinese students spend 15 hours of study every week. Meanwhile, the average African American spends 7 hours of study. Now, you cannot compare those two. From interviews with Chinese people, they say clearly that they have no choice. That's all what they have to do. When you get to a country where you have no hereditary advantage, you need to work very hard so that you can make ends meet. Now, this also shows that in China, the average parent spends 18% of their annual income on their children after school program. Now, this is not school fees. This 18% that are spending extra is not school fees. Now, this is money that you spend on extra homework, extra teacher, extra curricular activities. That is the money that goes for those things. For most other ethnic groups and Africans in the diaspora, this is not the case. After school, you don't even have time to follow up the child that this is what you have to do. Let's do this, let's do this. Or let me pay for this extra class. Or let me do this for this extra class. No, the child just remains like that. And this have a very big effect on the child's performance in school. And it's also going to have a very big effect on what the child is going to choose, because sometimes some of these courses, as we just talked about, we talked about STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Some of them require very high GPAs. And if you don't perform very well during the school period, you are not going to apply into those kind of courses. So preparation of such measures actually begins during the normal school period. It doesn't just begin at the end of a course that, okay, I've finished graduating from this, let me apply into the university and do STEM. No, you start preparation from day one in school. And this is what the Chinese people already understand. It is enshrined in their culture. Academic excellence is something that lives with the Chinese people. Another thing that the Chinese people do differently from other ethnic groups is the way they raise their families. The rate of divorce in Chinese families is extremely very small at 2 per 1,000. For African Americans and most Africans in the diaspora, it is 30. That is, you cannot just compare 30 and 2. Those are two different numbers. Now, when you have single parents, the net effect is that the child is going to have low educational aspirations. The child is going to have low test scores. Now, all these things, they really add up to make up how your child is going to behave in the future and how much your child is going to earn when it comes to professional life. So things like this, we need to start adapting. Another thing that the Chinese actually do that other people don't actually do very well is that they live in communities. They don't want to rent. They don't want to waste extra money to rent. They want to stay together, use the extra money and start up a business. That is delaying gratification. Note that this is not because they can't do it. They can do it, but they have chosen not to because they want to start up a business. They want to use money to multiply money. For most Africans in the diaspora, any extra dollar will be used to buy a flashy car or a big house. So we need to learn how to delay gratification in order to gain more. Another thing that the Chinese people do differently from other ethnic groups is their financial solidarity. Now, the Chinese are very good in helping each other financially. In fact, they're very good in doing that than they are at football. When a Chinese immigrant gets into a country, be it any country around the world, they have the same model all over the world. And that's why we're talking about the diasporans. When a new diasporans gets into a country, say country X, what happens is that the Chinese community in that country X receives and welcomes that new diasporans. What happens next is he has to look for a business model that works and is being financed whatever he needs to start up a business. Now, this happens in turns, and he's also expected to do the same when new diasporans arrive. Now, Africans in the diaspora also do this same kind of arrangements. But what actually differs is that with the Chinese system of financial solidarity, they insist that whoever is benefiting, that is the new diasporans, must use that money for business purposes. He must use that money to start up a business. Meanwhile, with the African system, what they do is we have 12 months in a year, and every month everybody contributes money and gives to one person. Now that one person, that money that they give to one person, the person can use that money to do whatever he wants to do with the money. He can buy anything he wants to buy with the money. And from statistics, many people have been using the money to buy their houses, to organize birthday for their girlfriends, to organize birthday for their children, to organize their birthdays, or to do whatever they want to do with the money. And that is the problem. And the next year, everything starts all over. But only a small percentage of Africans in the diaspora actually use this money to start up businesses or to actually do things that will bring in more money. The Chinese system has two major advantages. The first advantage is that it helps to create a money-making mindset. That is the mindset of the wealthy, where whatever you have as money, you use it to create more wealth. Another advantage is that it helps to elevate the whole community. If you want to start up a business, you are going to recruit more Chinese people who in turn will also receive money to start up their own business when they arrive at a particular threshold of capital. So it also helps not only to elevate a single person, but also the Chinese community. This is why you find Chinese neighborhoods in every country in the world. Now let's look at some numbers. There are 47 million African Americans living in the US, and these 47 million African Americans, they own about 3.12 million businesses. Now there are 19.9 million Asian Americans living in the US. Now these 19.9 million Asian Americans living in the US own 2.9 million businesses. Now the Asians are half the population of African Americans, but they own as much businesses as the African Americans. So you see how schemes like this can actually lead to results that are tangible and that can actually change people's lives. The next thing that characterizes the Chinese diaspora is meritocracy. The Chinese culture actually believes a lot in meritocracy. This mindset have made them to be extremely hardworking. That is, they actually believe that if you work very hard, you are going to achieve any level in life. And this actually demonstrated in the way China is being governed. And this is clearly practiced in the one-party system in China. Now, many people don't actually know about the one-party system. They don't really know much about the one-party system. And people actually think that the one-party system is a dictatorship. Now, the one-party system in China is actually based on performance. In China, for you to have a promotion that is from one level to another, you need to work very hard, and there is a special agency that actually scrutinizes all government workers every year to make sure that they are actually performing at the highest level. There is also room for public opinion. It means that you can actually perform very well, but if the public doesn't like you on that particular post, if you're not actually being catchy to the public, if you don't actually delivering to the public in a very special way, you are not going to be promoted to the next level. So meritocracy in China is the watchword. And the merit, as the word actually implies, does not consider your background. This actually means that the son of a poor farmer can become the president of China. A clear example is Xi Jinping, the current president in China. He started as a village secretary and now he is the president of China. And this clearly explains why the Chinese people are not always against their governments in contrast to the rest of the world. Because they know deep in them that to live from one level to another, you must be performant. You must have a particular level of performance before you move from one level to the next. So they are actually looking at the president as the most performant person in China. Hard work has also made the Chinese people to hate government aids. In most countries, people actually don't want to go to work because they want government to help them. Yeah, but the Chinese people don't want it. They look it as dishonored. And this character has been exported to other parts of the world. And that's why people all over the world can actually testify that the Chinese people are hardworking. Now, the next thing that sets the Chinese apart is the fact that they like business. They are business minded. Now, the Chinese people are very skilled at this. They don't actually mind starting from scratch. They don't mind starting from a very low level and growing up, which is actually the key of doing business. If you ask many African Americans or many Africans in the diaspora that why are you not doing a business, they'll tell you that because I don't have enough capital. The Chinese people don't care about that. They start from any level. They start from small. They start with mean businesses. You know, the normal advice is better to build a business rather than buying a business. Some people think that it's only actually using a lot of money to start up a business that will make the business succeed. Starting up a business is actually based on how you understand how the dynamics of business work within the environment in which you find yourself. So most Chinese people, what do? They start very mean. They start at a very low level and actually scale up their business. At one moment, I saw one Chinese man selling bread in Cameroon. That is one of the very mean. That's one of the very mean jobs you can actually find in Cameroon. If you find an average Cameroonian will not accept to do that kind of business, to be selling bread on the streets. No, but a Chinese man will freely carry out that kind of business, selling bread on the streets and trying to understand how market dynamics work within that environment. That is how you actually start up a business. Fortunately, in Africa, we do have some tribes that are also entrepreneurial, like the Chinese. An example is the Bamilikes in Cameroon, the Igbos of Nigeria, the Kikuyus of Kenya. Those are the most entrepreneurial tribes in Africa. In Africa today, we do have a poll on daily basis. No, almost on daily basis. Some days we might actually skip, but it's almost on a daily basis. We have polls like this that are meant to expose Africa, expose some realities in Africa, and also meant to make people to know Africa more. The next thing that actually characterizes the Chinese diaspora is partnership. Now, this partnership issue, I would have actually joined with the business point, but then I wanted to separate it because it's a particular problem in the African community. You know, deep inside the African tradition, we are used to kings and queens. That is, people are used to taking authority over their businesses. They don't want to have a business where another person is going to be like, I'm the boss, or we are sharing things together. Or everybody wants to, in Africa, people want to control what they have. So partnership is something that is still very lagging behind. If you want to start up a business and you don't have the skill or you don't have the capital to start up that business, you can actually partner with somebody who can actually provide the skill or provide the capital, or you can actually contribute the capital and actually start up that business. But in Africa, I've told you, as I told you before, that mentality of I want to control everything is always there. I've interviewed many Africans in diaspora, and everybody, I want to do myself. I want to do this business by myself. I don't want somebody to come and be like bossing me around. If I have to do business, I'm going to be my boss. If I have to do business, I'm going to be the only boss. No, you can actually start a business. And that's one thing that is actually making many people from not starting up their businesses, because they don't want to partner up with somebody. When you partner up with somebody, you are going to have a lot of advantages. So if you want to learn how to do partnership, or if you want to know how to find a good partner, I'm going to link in the description. There's a video right there in the description, or you click over there. The video is about how to do a good partnership, or how to choose a good partner. That's very important. I told you, many businesses don't take off because people don't want to do partnership, which is something that is very wrong. The Chinese are very good at that. Now, moving forward, we are going to be responding to polls on our channel. We post polls on daily basis. So if you're not participating, it's better you start participating. Now, the polls actually help many people to know more about Africa. Many people have actually confided in me in the past that it is actually helping. It's actually helping them to know a lot about the continent. So every week we are going to be taking a video and just like talk some up about the polls and talk about the polls of the week, or maybe some of the polls of the week, and give certain answers. Many people have been worried that why are we giving polls without actually orientating them, or without actually giving answers. So the answer is clear. We're going to be giving those answers within our videos. So if you want to get some of the answers of the polls, you can watch some of the videos and watch them to the end, because most often we are going to be giving the polls at the end of the videos. Now let's get to one of the polls. This country has the best education system in Africa. By the time this video was being filmed, we had these results. Ghana had 38%. Ethiopia had 12%, Botswana had 23%, and Seychelles had 27%. Let's see if collective intelligence is going to help here. Now, in this particular situation, collective intelligence is not helping. From what I'm seeing here, 38% is not the right answer. It is not Ghana that has the best education system in Africa. It is not Ethiopia. It's not Botswana. Obviously, the answer is Seychelles. Seychelles won. Seychelles is having the best education system in Africa for many reasons. I'm going to make a video on that, the best educative systems in Africa and why they are the best educative system in Africa. The next post is talking about the most entrepreneurial tribe in Africa. The most entrepreneurial tribe in Africa. So this poll wants us to know which tribe is the most entrepreneurial in Africa. And by the time of recording this video, we had the results. Bamileke, that's from Cameroon, 5%. The Igbos from Nigeria, 59%. The Zulus, that's in South Africa, 24%. And the Ashanti, that's from Ghana, 12%. Now, collective intelligence won. The answer is actually Igbo. The Igbos are by far the most entrepreneurial in Africa. There is no question about that. There is no doubt about that. Now we have some reactions there. Timothy, shout out to Timothy and shout out to Churuba, who were the only people who actually responded here. Out of 320 votes, nobody actually commented. Only these two people actually commented. Shout out to them, Timothy and Churuba. Please go to the comments and always comment down below. That is how we interact. That is how we learn. That is how we're going to discuss. That's how we're going to know more about Africa. That's how we're going to put Africa's information out there. So always participate. If you are not participating, please always participate on our community tab. It comes once in a while, maybe when you're browsing, you always see our questions, our poll questions, answer, and try to leave a comment so that we can talk about it in the video. Thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.